Chief Dr. Senator Edwin Clark, OFR, CON, is gone. A mighty tree is falling. Just 2 days, or how many days after the death of Pa Ayo Adebanjo, who was a man of like passion like him. Those are some of the fewest of the last man standing, because if we say last man standing now, maybe there might be one of those elders who is not as sung as them or as loud as them. I think it's about 4 days apart, because Pa Adebanjo died on the 14th. That is Ayo Adebanjo died on Valentine's Day, and I think Pa Edwin Clark died just around the 18th of the month. And Nigeria is losing its last man standing. Age of 97, Adebanjo was just close to 76, right? 96, yes, close to 96 birthday. Pa Edwin Clark died on Monday, February 17th. Okay, 3-4 days apart. Big loss or big losses. How? These are men that can look and have been looking any government in the face and have been saying it as it is. This Papa Clark was a voice, and we can call him not just Niger Delta Papa or Grandpapa. He was Nigeria's grandpapa. These are people who fought. They have been fighting. They have been around, and they fought until the last day. Good and bad, they have their own rights and wrongs, because there is no perfect human being, especially people in the public space. Definitely, some people will like some things you do sometimes. They will not like. Some people will not like some things that you do. But the most important thing is that these were audible voices. Let me restrict my. Let me stay with Pa Edwin Clark, late Pa Edwin Clark now. Wow. So Pa Edwin Clark is now late. Wow. Now, we grew up to see this man fighting at the forefront of clamoring for restructuring in Nigeria, along with Adebanjo and a lot of their likes. But he has a political history of being, a former commissioner for information. I think that was during that must be during was it Murtala Muhammad government? Anyway, the government in power at 1975, in the Midwestern province under David Ejo, and he also worked with Governor Samuel Ogbemudia. All right. Okay, he worked with General Yakubu Gowon's government between 1966 and 1975. And throughout his life, he stood for the cause of the Niger Delta, especially PANDEF, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum. He was leading, a lot of groups. Apart from that PANDEF, he was seen as a voice. This man was very significant in the scheme of things, because they are the ones that were the spokespeople. They were the visible, audible, recognized, respected leaders of the Niger Delta in national affairs, including the Constitutional Conference of President Ebele Jonathan, which many people believe came out with a lot of resolutions that could have helped Nigeria to come out of the doldrums. But a lot of the recommendations were not implemented. People like Pa Ayo Adebanjo was also in that conference. So these are men that fought, and all their efforts was just to stand for what they believed in. because they will not take injustice, especially to the Niger Delta people. The story of Niger Delta is very peculiar, especially with the pollution of the Niger Delta and with the way the resources are being taken away from Niger Delta to develop other parts of Nigeria. They fought for, the change in the equation of the sharing formula of the revenue that comes from the Niger Delta, and also a lot of things that, centers around the country being restructured in a way that it will not be a case of monkey dey walk, baboon dey chop. And that's what this man stood for the whole of the rest of his life. Okay, he was a man of conviction, and all they were saying with some other parts of the country was, can we just have a fair Nigerian, or let everybody go and have their own self-governance or the kind of autonomy that existed in the regions before independence. And today, the same way the Yoruba people lost a figure that was a rallying point for them, that is the way the Niger Delta and indeed the whole of Nigerians have lost, a rallying figure, because he had more respect. We have Niger Delta militants who actually fought, rose up with like they are fighting the cause of Niger Delta, but people can see through some of those things now, that even though they rose, they came into the scene because they were representing the interest of the Niger Delta and the injustice. But you can see a lot of those ones, they have become millionaires now. Baba was not also poor himself, but you can see the likes of those Ijo and other kind of tribes, the militants in Isekiri, Urobo, and some other, places right there in the Niger Delta region, going from rivers to Cross River State to all of the states there in the south region, right from Edo State here. There are a lot of activists, there are a lot of Niger Delta activists apart from the militants, but Papa Edwin Clark stands out because of his pedigree, because of his reputation, because of the respect that is accorded at the national level. And definitely, when Baba speaks, at least people listen. The leaders, they know that a voice has spoken. That man is gone now, the same way Ayo Adebanjo was the face of the Afenifere in Yoruba land. Two of them going at the same time, of the same generation. I do not know. In the Yorubas now, they are talking about where is the rallying point. Though Papa Ayo Adebanjo kind of was losing the image of being the Yoruba spokesman or the Yoruba leader in the real sense of it, because he went with peterobi in the last election and he stood staunchly against President Bolahmedtinubu. But people like Edwin Clark played the politics of making sure that there is no cheating in the country and everybody is well represented. He is no more today. He has gone. Now, it looks like that generation is just facing out. Who are the ones that are remaining? Who are the ones that are standing? Who will now be the face of those that will be fighting for the stoppage of the exploitation and the marginalization of the Niger Delta? Because, people like Edwin Clark, they are, voices that cannot be ignored by the powers that be. He can knock on the door of any president, any governor at any point in time, and that makes it a very big loss to the Niger Delta region. Also, beyond the Niger Delta, he also cooperated with other, groups like Afenifere, and there's the Middle Belt Forum as well. Some of those groups that have been fighting for equity in Nigeria. He also he aligned with those and joined forces with them. They had conferences and they were looking for the way forward. And the voices and the the request, on their lips was just for Nigeria to be fair, Nigeria to be balanced, Nigeria to be very, very equitable. Now he's gone, he's no more. We just pray that his soul will rest in perfect peace, and may God console his family and console all the Ijaw people of Beke Derimo family, the Kiagbodo town, and the whole of Delta State, especially the whole of Nigeria, because people do not even see people like Edwin Clark majorly as Ijaws like that, or Niger Delta in that sense. They see them as the voices that are able to face the government of the day, any government in power, and tell them as it is, and place demands on them, and call them to order without minding anything. He had respect across all geopolitical zones. We are able to say the things that he did. Well, politics is, people say it's a dirty game, though other people query that they say it's not politics that is dirty, it's the people that play that is dirty. Not just being an Ijaw or Niger Delta activist or a minority activist in Nigeria, since he is in the political scene of the country, some people will like him, some people may hate him or not like him as such. They may not appreciate what he stands for, and they may view some of the activities that he has done in the past, or most recently, especially in the politics of Rivers State, which is a very touchy subject matter, and some of the things that happen in the local politics of his own state. But the image that goes with him to the grave is the image of a fighter, is the image of a leader, is the image of someone who stood for a balanced Nigeria. These are people that talks about the inadequacy of our constitution and how it should, all the reforms that they were asking for. People talk about restructuring. It looks like that is a very sensitive word, but all they stood for was that let people control the resources that are found in their area and just make contribution to the center. And this is what Edwin Clark stood for. Great intellectual, great and accomplished public servant. May the soul of this great man rest in perfect peace. The important thing is that generation is phasing out. That generation, the first generation of politicians in Nigeria, they are phasing out. Where are we today? We can talk of their efforts and where we have found ourselves. It doesn't seem as if everything they tried to achieve, I don't know how much of it was achieved, but their legacy lives on. Their voices and what they saw as being the way forward for Nigeria is to be studied. They may not have been perfect in their opinion. They are human beings, people like him and Ayo Adebanjo and other people like them, but they have contributed to the conversations of the country, and it is hoped that even though their recommendations might not have been perfect, whatever, at least our own generation can pick it up from where they stop and look at the best of their recommendations, the best of what they stood for, the best of the conversations they had, and at least fine-tune, refine that, and get a better nation, because the ultimate goal is for us to be a better people and a greater nation, a nation where everybody is considered equal, and where monkey is not walking and baboon is chopping, where everybody is treated equally, and we have a constitution that protects everyone equally, and the resources of the country are managed equitably, and the leaders are accountable to the people, and the leaders are also responsible to the calling and the mandate that the people have given them. Rest in peace, Edwin Clark. He will be remembered in the annals of history, and you will live on in our hearts. Condolences to the family, the Ijaw nation, and the Niger Delta region in general. This is my tribute to Edwin Clark. Kindly, what's your opinion about this great man? Please contribute in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will see you on the next one. Bye.